Hey there, it's Michelle, and I am excited to show you guys the tool that I use. Now, some of you all are familiar with this tool, and you know that this is my ride or die. I absolutely freaking love it. And so I want to make sure that I am very transparent and let you guys know what I rock with and what I love. And this tool is called K-Lytics. It's a service, but you can also get individualized reports that are phenomenal. I'm going to run through this real fast, so you guys go with me. I'm going to take you over my shoulder and show you how I go through and look at data. Okay, so here's K-Lytics. If you find this something that you would be interested in, I would appreciate it if you use my link, which would be an affiliate link. I will let you know that. But you could go to michellespiva.com/KLE to get access to K-Lytics as well as the individual products. Now, let me take you on a quick tour of this and let you know why I love it so much. And you're actually going to see me go through this month's data to look for opportunities of books that I can possibly write and look into. Okay, so bear with me. This training is going to be a little more in detail. So for those of you who are ADD or want everything spoon fed to you, you need silver arrows and golden geese. This is not the video for you. Step on, go away. But for those of you who are interested in learning the process and going with me as I go through this, stick with me and I promise we're gonna get there. Okay, so here we go. Now this is K-Lytics. When you go inside, after you've signed up, if you have account access to the product, the monthly product, it is a monthly product, you will come here to the members area. And what you see are all the offerings that are available. For the K-Lytics data itself, you've got three different layers. You've got the basic layer, which is equivalent to the top tier of the main categories for Amazon. And this is all of Amazon's Kindle data for nonfiction and fiction. Then you've got the next layer, which is going to be the subcategory. And then you have the third category. And depending on which one you choose, if you get basic, premium, or elite, that's what you get access to. And then they've got some bonuses here that are awesome. You can make your own kind of personal content. I usually just do mine offline. The custom research, I'm going to show you a little bit about that. The strategy maps and special reports, and so you get all of that. Okay, so I'm going to hop over to the custom research, and you can actually see it here. You may, like I said, you may be familiar with these phenomenal custom researches that have been done. You can see them over here on the right hand side. So when you open up the custom research, this is what it looks like. And you'll see that all of these reports, these custom research reports, allow you to download them. And they have videos, and you get access to the documents, the PDFs used in the videos. So as of this recording right now, this is an updated edition of Cozy Mystery. The previous one was done in 2016, and now we're in 2018. I don't really like to date these because a lot of this stuff is still really good. But what you'll notice is you get the video, you get the report, and then you get an analysis. And I like his analysis. They are so on point and so good. And then with this one, there's even a bonus one where he did the Cozy Mystery Witch series bonus report. You can download all of that. He back in the previous month, he was rocking and rolling last month. He did the romance genre. He did the mystery, thriller, and suspense genre. He did the science fiction and fantasy. And then previously to that, so like I said, let me just scroll through so you can quickly see. Here's some urban fantasy, vigilante justice, clean romance, reverse harem, and westerns, lit RPG, African American romance, so many of them. And then you scroll down. So say for instance you're nonfiction and you want to look at those. Now of course he's got those as well. Like I said, he's covering fiction and nonfiction. So you've got self-help, which is a big industry. So he gives you a quick down and dirty on how to really take advantage of that. I think he does a better job with these reports sometimes when the niches are not so hot and helping to help you understand how you can get in there and carve out something that's lucrative enough for your time. So he's got that. This one is the oh, I can't see that little thumbnail. Sorry. This one's business and money. Let me see. There are some special reports that he did that I thoroughly enjoy. Let's see if I can find it. It was a short reads one. That's Christian, teen, adult, mixed and non-mixed results, biographies, memoirs. Okay, I think I know what it is. It's on another page, and I don't want to open it up and eat up too much of my memory. But there's a short reads one that is just, oh my God, it's phenomenal. Okay, so when you open up these reports, let me just open up Cozy Mystery real quick so you can see what that looks like. So with Cozy Mystery, when you open it up, you're able to download the PDFs. You can watch the videos, and then of course you can get the bonus report here. So here's the video. I think the video was like, what, maybe 15 minutes? Let's see here. Okay, this one was like 30 minutes, but that's, I mean, when he did a great job. Okay, so you've got the Cozy Mystery Report. This one is the best themes and characters. A lot of times when you get these reports, he'll look at the top 100 markets within there. That's excellent as well. And then the bonus report for this one, he did the Cozy Mystery Witches, which is a hot sub niche. So you get that one, as well as, well, you know, of course you would get that one, as well as the video for it. Okay, so I'm just showing you a look through so that you can get an idea of what you get. So now I want to go into the meat of the matter of what I like to use each month when I get it. And I have the KLytics Elite. I'm blessed to have the Elite level. And what you do is you click on that, and then it opens up. Now, depending on when you join, that's when your monthly subscription starts. So I guess you can tell I've been a member for a while, and I really love this. So that really has given me an ability to create a lot of trending year-over-year analysis. I'm able to do a 3-year, almost a 3-year analysis, sometimes 4-year on some of them, and really get into how the market is moving. And I'm going to tell you, these are the same tools that the big 5 use. So you're up there with the movers and shakers. So that's why I love this information. It's almost like shooting fish in a barrel. There's almost no excuse for not knowing where you can use your particular talents and passions to appease the market. Okay, so when you open up the report, this is interactive, so you can do everything here. Because it's my system, it doesn't handle all of that really well, and I just like to be able to zip through stuff. I don't want to wait for it to figure out if it's going to show it to me or not. I download it, but you can do everything here. So when you download it, it uses Microsoft Excel. If you don't have Excel, don't worry about it. Like I said, you can still use it here. Okay, so we're going to download it, and I've already downloaded it. And let me take you over to that. Okay, so downloading it, this is what it looks like when it comes up. And I'm looking at the Elite data summary. I already know that right now it's a little over 3,000 records that are in the Amazon book, Kindle book section. And you can see they're all in here. Okay. And I had this guy ask, he says, well, how do you know they're all in there? Trust me, they're in here. Now, while I'm getting myself set up here, let me pull that off screen so you can see what everything is. I'm going to talk you through this real quick, because now you're ready to see me go through this and the work through. So, okay. The way this is set up is the categories that you see here are taken directly from the Amazon's API. So how you read this is this section here is the book market and or the niche. So if you want to know, if you put something, if you want to take pictures and you want to make a coffee table book or something like that, you can do that. And you can go right here, click on it, and look for your subcategory, and boom, you click on it, it'll give you all the information. He has a 25-minute video that describes to you 3 different ways to look for opportunities with your books. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the quick and dirty of how I do it each month to look and see what I'm interested in and where there is opportunity. Okay, so how this is set up is this is a field that we're going to use at the end, so I'll come back to it. But I just want to let you know this column here always lets you know what level you're on. So if you have, or if you get access to the Elite data and it pulls back a record on that level, you're going to have 3 C's. Each one of the C's stands for a category. So the basic level will give you the first C. The premium level, the second, and the third will give you the third C. So that's basic, premium, and then Elite. The next column lets you know what category you're in. So how you tell which level you're in is by the dashes. So the first category on Amazon is arts and photography. The subcategory is art, and then the subcategory, which here is the Elite, would be instruction and reference. Make sense? Okay, great. All right, so now we've got sales volume, volume growth, price realization, competitive intensity, effort, and strategy map. How I do this is when I go in, I don't even pay attention to this first column because I follow the numbers, and the numbers are going to tell me what I need to know. So let's just go with that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter down to get all of the records that I don't want out of the way. This is brilliant in how he has this set up. Kudos to you, Alex. You know how much I love this product, but I just can't say it enough. So in the strategy map, you have the cluster. This is going to be the last column as of this recording, how it's set up. And what he's done is he's taken all of the information and then classified the books by ranking of all of these factors that we're going to go over. And the rankings are where he has the worst, where, you know, there are no sales, or what he would call a non-seller. Then you got the slow ones. So after the non-seller is going to be the slow sale, followed by the slow niche. You know, it might have a, few seasonal upticks or whatever. Followed by the beaten track mainstream. I call that Hunger Games. That's where everybody's duking it out, and it's just a free-for-all. Followed by competitive bestseller, which I classify as the land of the giants, the land of the Big Five, the huge market share, blockbuster authors that are perennially on every list, and everything. They are a lot of times going to be there, as well as the go-to genres. So those are going to be your top-level mystery, thriller, suspense, romance, science fiction. And by the way, let me say this before I forget. When in doubt, if you don't have this information, historically, in the last 20 years or so, and longer, but I'm just going to be safe with saying the last 20 years or so, there have been 3 stalwarts that if you find yourself in here and you carve a niche out, you're going to be okay because the traffic and attention is there. And that is going to be romance, mystery, thriller, and suspense, or MTS, so that I don't have to say that over and over again, and science fiction. So romance, MTS, science fiction. Now, a word about romance. Romance has morphed into, at this time, not morphed into, is sharing its spotlight with women's fiction. Okay, so just so you know, women's fiction / romance is going to be up there in that trio. Okay, so with that being said, let's start working on getting this down. Now remember, actually, it's showing me right here, and I don't know why. Let me see if I can move that up so you guys can see it. There we go. Okay, so you see that we're starting out with 3,042 records. Well, actually, it's showing 3,037, so that probably lets me know there are about 5 of them that are blank. Oh, no, 5 of them I clicked off of something. Yeah, I clicked off of competitive bestseller. That's why. Okay, So I'm going to start working with this by only working with the best ones. And the best ones for me are going to be in the hots. Now, I don't really care about hot mainstream because I am really looking for the creme de la creme. I'm looking for the secret little gaps and honey holes that are going to give me the most bang for the buck. So I'm going to click on hot sale, which is the best, and I'm going to click on hot niche, which is the second best. Okay, so now we've done that. We're all the way down to 337 records out of 3,042. Okay, so we've got that. The next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to stay right over here in my strategy map, and now I want to know, give me the books that the most people want with the least amount of supply. So you may have remembered growing up learning about supply and demand. Supply is the stuff or the books. Demand is the amount of readers willing to pay or read it. And so this right here to me is worth its weight in gold. This is the sales to competition ratio. And so what he does is he takes the amount of sales per day, or this program takes the amount of sales by day times 1,000. And then it divides it by the number of titles in that particular subcategory, because we're in the elite level, and you get a number. Now the numbers are numeric and they go up, they don't end. So it's not like it's 0 to 100. It's just letting you know, I don't want to say percentage wise, I just want to say ratio wise. That's what I'm going to say, ratio wise, because like I said, it's a ratio. Okay, so what I want is I want to have like at least a 2 to 1. So for me, that's going to come out to a number of 50 or better. So the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to say I want greater or equal to 50. Okay, and yeah, I can do descending. Yeah, that's fine. So what I've now said is I want to have a sales to competition ratio where I am not having to duke it out with so many people. I have cleared the field down to where there are not a lot of books as opposed to the amount of sales. Okay, remember supply and demand. Okay, I think I've drawn that in enough. So let's go on and finish up. So just by doing that, to changing it down to 50 or better, I've brought those records down to only 22. So now we're only at 22 records. And you notice I still haven't gone over here to look at the market or the niche. I don't really care right now. I'm letting the numbers tell me a story. Hey, we're writers. That's what we do. So now I'm going to hop over to sales volume. Now, this is going to be the last area I manipulate before I really kind of start looking at things, okay? So I know that I've got 22 records. So say, for instance, I'm okay with that. 22 is fine. I can rock with that. That's fine. And I can look and see that out of those 22 records, wow, I'm looking pretty good because most of them are hot sell and hot niche. Now, I'm going to tell you something with these color codings here in the competitive intensity. The better or closer it gets to green, the more opportunity for your supply and demand. Less effort, I would say, because they don't have as many titles, but people are looking for those books. So like I said before, if you are okay with, once you get down to looking at, is it a hot sell or a hot niche, and do I have the supply to demand ratio that's favorable, you can go from there. And then you can start looking. But what I'm going to do is, picky that I am, I'm going to narrow it down even more. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at, let me tell you what these things are. I'm going to look at the sales volume. So the sales volume, what that is it's looking at what's going on in the particular niches on a day-to-day basis, average day-to-day basis for that particular month. Now, how he has it set up is the first 2 columns deal with the top 20. The second 2 columns deal with the number 1 position. I'm not necessarily trying to get into the number 1 position. It's nice to know, but I just need to know, what am I looking at to try to get into the top 20. So what I'm going to do is the first column deals with the sales rank. In this column, remember this, if you're using these reports, because I have done this sometimes and was like, oh no, I got to go back and redo it. The lower the number, the better. Because in sales ranking, the number one placeholder gets the lion's share of the market. So if you're the top number one bestseller, you're way better off than if you are the 1 millionth seller. So remember this, the lower the number, the better. So out of this, I can go in and I'm going to filter. I'm going to say I want less than or equal to. And I can pull a sales rank. So I'm going to be really aggressive and I'm going to pull a sales rank of 2,000. Yeah. Let's see how picky we can be with that. And I'm going to make it ascending because I want to see the best one at the top. Okay, let's see how many that pulled back. Okay, out of that, we got 13 records. So now we're down to 13 records. And we know that every single one of them is a winner because it now fulfills all of our needs. We know it's either a hot niche or a hot sell. We know that it's got the sales to income rate. I mean, it's not sales to income. Oh, duh. I'm so used to that. It's got the supply and demand ratio. That's pretty good. And it's even got the sales rank that we want, which is really good. So when you go through and you take a look at this, now say for instance, it pulled back 13 records and you're like, I don't want any of this. You can play around with it and you can like increase your sales ranking. So say for instance, you're like, I don't know, let me take a look. What else am I willing to deal with? So if you're willing to go down to maybe 30 books a day, you're like, oh yeah, if I'm in the top 20 and I get 30 books a day, I'm happy. Maybe put that sales rank up to 5,000. So putting the sales rank up to 5,000, which is about 25 to 30 books a day, that increases the records from 13 up to 17. So there were only 4 more that were added, but that's still okay. All right. Play around with it for what you are interested in. Now, again, how do I know what the average daily sales are going to be based on a sales ranking? Well, he has a special report in K-Lytics that will tell you. But if you don't want to look at that or pull it up, put in a sales rank, find it here, and then look at what it looks like for that average. So at a 4,000 sales rank, now this is not going to be true to form, but it's close enough. So around 4,000, that's about 31 books a day. 3,000, around 38, and so on. Okay, so that's how I can pick that kind of stuff. So we don't have to make this hard. I'm just telling you guys how you want to make your money. And like I said, this is why I love K-Lytics, because it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel. All right, so the next thing I do, now that I have all of this set up, the next thing I do is I go in and I look at what I'm interested in. And remember I told you they have this custom column? Well, when I see something that I'm interested in, I put an X in it and then I filter down even more. And then I pick something and mash it together, and boom, I have a new way of looking at what I possibly want to write or incorporate in existing series and titles. Okay, so let's do that. The best one that I have here is going to be literature and fiction, women's fiction, new adult, and college, with a sales rank of around 91, which puts you in the top 100 if you manage to be here. Okay. Now, with that being said, I'm going to take you through what each one of these columns looks like and how you can talk yourself through the story to see if there's something you're interested in. All right. So I know it's got a sales rank of 91. I know that that's equal to 647. So if I'm taking notes, which I normally would, I just open up a text file, and if I say I'm interested in this, I'll make myself a note. Like for instance, 91, I want to know how hard it is to get into that top 20, which means I'm going to go over to Amazon. I'm going to look specifically at that subcategory, and I'm going to look at the 20th spot. And I'm going to also look at who's carrying the top 20. If I see that there are only 4 main authors in there, I want to know if it's really realistic for me to be able to get in there. If not, then I possibly want to look and see who's underneath that, like up to the top 50, and see, can I still make enough money in the top 50? For some people, you may want a book that sells 10 a day. And I'm going to be honest with you, the more books you start to have, that's a very realistic way to look at it, to cobble your money together. If you've got 20 to 30 titles, and each one of your titles you can manage to get them selling 10 books a day every day, that adds up. So you don't necessarily you don't necessarily have to find one that's just going to always hit it out the park and put it in the top 20, but it's going to give you an idea of where you want to be. Okay, so in my sales volume, I know in the top 20, the average is under 100. I know that that's around 640 to 650 sales per day. Then I want to look at the volume growth. Now, the volume growth, and he gives you the definition of whatever it is that you're looking for, and you can read it. I'll read it to you so you can stay with me. So this column is volume growth, and what this is this is percent rise or drop of the top 20 titles in sales rank and I'm assuming it's month over month. I've always assumed it's month over month. So what this tells me is this is a positive 32%, and this tells me that there was a rise in the top 20 titles of sales rank, meaning that the sales rank got better from the previous month. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so that's pretty good. Okay, price realization. Now, price realization is you have to take into account that this is a average of all of the titles in there. And I had to learn this when I was first working with this. I used to get excited when I would see like a $7 something. And then I would go and realize, oh, the reason why the average price is so high is because the top 5 publishing houses are in there. And a lot of times they don't price like we do. They don't care. They will put an ebook in there for $11.99, $15.99, and they don't care because their talent can get it, and it will skew your numbers. So don't take this as the gospel, take it as the launching point. And if you're interested in there and you say, oh, for me to make this worth my while, I want to be able to sell my books at $4.99, that's fine. Just go and make sure that the majority of the market share is not gobbled up by 10 top authors within that niche. That's where those custom reports come in really well that I like. So when I am looking at something, I will a lot of times hop over there and look at the top 100 market share report in the subcategory. And that lets me know if it's worth my time to try to go head on with them or to find another layer of a niche where I can get in underneath them and get their draft win. Okay, so we've got the average dollar amount. Make sure you check that out. So that would be something that I would put in my notes. I want to check and see, again, if it's top 5 publishers in here are very well established market mavens controlling this price to drive it up so much. It's something, if you've got, and I've seen this happen, where you have maybe 5 authors controlling it, and all of their books are $8.99 to $11.99. And then you've got people trying to get market share, and it's just flooded with 99-cent books all over the place. Everybody else fighting for the bottom, fighting for the market share. So you may have readers that are willing to pay $8.99 for a well-established writer, but everybody else, they want it for Kindle Unlimited only or 99 cents. So that's the kind of stuff that you want to look at when you're looking at this. That's why I love this K-Lytics, because it helps me to start thinking this way and seeing this way. Now, the lowest price, that's just going to be 99 cents across the board, okay? The price change. Now, this is something that I really want you to pay attention to if you're working with these reports, because if you do this, so say for instance, this same sub niche came up 3 months in a row, and you start to notice that the price drop continues to go down, 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 and down each month which like I said, I have seen. I've been able to pull June, July, August, September, and take a look at something that I'm interested in. And based on just these numbers, I'm able to track and see what's going on. That's going to be really powerful. So this one, because we're just looking at this current month, this one had a price drop of almost a third. Okay. So I would make a note there as well. Going back to that previous example, are there a lot of new titles coming in that were 99 cents? How do I try to figure that out? Well, when I go into Amazon, it's not perfect, you guys, but when I go into Amazon, a lot of times I'll look to see if in the top 20 there are 99-cent books, or if there are a lot of Kindle Unlimited books. The good thing with K-Lytics is they always evolve. And part of that question has now been answered. Alex and his team are so great. They added this for us. And they have put in what is the percentage of Kindle Unlimited books in this category. And boom, here I see 46%. That's a lot, you guys. 46% of the books in this category are in Kindle Unlimited. And therefore, that could possibly contribute. It may not, but that could possibly contribute. It may also be that a lot of books are at 99 cents as well. Now, the next thing is, now that I've looked at the price change, I want to look at the competitive intensity. Now, competitive intensity, remember we talked about sales to competition ratio? What you're looking at here is you're looking at how the books stack up against each other with the offerings. So the number of titles, and the number of titles is going to be, like it says, how many titles are classified like this in Amazon. And in this particular case, 9,325 at this particular time are classified as literature and fiction, women's fiction, new adult, and college. Now, I will say this. Usually anything under 10,000 is still going to be great, and thus I believe that's why it got its classification as hot niche. But I will say this lily is almost about to turn because it's inching up there. The number of titles that were added this month was only 3%, but still, that's something to be aware of. Now, I say aware of because let's continue to talk this story out. You have almost half of them going into KU, 32%, almost a third of them had a price drop versus the previous month. But the sales to competition ratio is still almost 70%, coming in at 69.3, which is pretty good. Okay, so this would still be something that I would definitely watch if it's something I'm interested in. So going back, my notes would look like this, and I'm trying not to, do too much. That's why you don't see me typing them out for you. But my notes would look like this. In this particular section, I want to know how hard is it to get in this top 20. I want to know how many books are priced above $4.99. And I want to look at the top 100 or the top 20 to look and see how many are in Kindle Unlimited, how many are coming out or premiering at 99 cents. There is a way in Amazon to look and see if there are pre-orders. What are they selling at pre-order? Are they selling at 99 cents? I also want to look and see if the Big Five has a huge presence in the market, or if there are well-established market mavens, authors who just command a huge chunk of the marketing presence. Okay, so those would be things that I'd like to look at. So now that I've taken you through what each one of these looks like, I'm now going to pick the ones that I'm interested in. So all I do is I just go and I look at them, and I'll throw them up here so you can see what they look like. So this one is going to be Lit and Fic, women's fiction, psychological. Yep, I write in that, so I like that. The next one is women's fic, action and adventure. Yep, like that one too. Women's fic, humor. Yep. Women's fiction, historical. If that's your bag, go for it. If you don't know what it is, copy that and go look for it in Amazon. And you'll start with literature and fiction, and then you'll see women's fiction, and then you'll go down to historical. Okay? Now, if you sometimes I've had people say, "Well, Michelle, it didn't work exactly like that." What I would do is I would probably go into women's fiction, look at the top 20, see if something looks historical, click on it, and then follow it back. When you look at the rankings, follow it back to see what's in the top 20, 100, or whatever of this particular one. There's always ways to find it. This stuff exists in Amazon, or it would not be on this report. Okay, so you guys don't think, oh, it has to be. Like I said, we're not looking for silver bullets and golden hens here. You're going to have to do a little bit of work. So the next one that I'm interested in, women's. Okay, so this one is just the reverse. It's still historical women's fiction. Nah. MTS, mystery, thriller, and suspense. So we've got crime, fiction, serial killers. I don't want to write that. But I do have MTS series. I'm interested in that. So I'll put an X there. MTS, crime fiction kidnapping. Now, I will tell you, this crime fiction kidnapping right here is really popular. It ties in with vigilante justice, and you see vigilante justice is actually on the list as well. So much so that there have been some movies starring female protagonists who have had, think of Taken, instead of Liam Neeson, the characters like Halle Berry, Jennifer Gardner, some of those have been in those roles recently. So you can actually dovetail off of that. If you know that there's something you want to get in on, and those movies have done well or people are interested in them, go for it, because the numbers are here. Okay, I am interested in women's fiction fantasy, so I'll put that one there. Okay, so this one is kind of new, and it's TV, movie, and video game adaptations. It is a hot sell. It only has a little over 1,400 titles in it. What I would do is copy that down and go look at it to see if there's a way for me to find some interest in it, because I know that the numbers are going to work. Okay, so that would be something that I might look into. All right, so we've got science fiction, romantic, interested in that. We've got military, science fiction, fantasy, military, which is strong. And if you can see, it has only got 558 titles in it. And the rest of these are pretty good too. So let's see, I've got teen and young adult, MTS. Let's see, we've got British historical and Ethereum. All right, so I've picked out the ones that I'm probably sort of kind of interested in. Let me see, I'm just taking a quick look through to see if there's anything else I'm interested in. You know what? I'll put the games adaptation on there. So the next thing I do is I filter out everything else that I don't want to see. And boom, there I have it. And so now I am down to just 7 titles. Once I have my 7 titles, the next thing I look at is I look to see what is my hot sell and what is my hot niche, because those are going to be the first ones that I look for opportunity. So I know that from mystery, thriller, suspense series on down, those are going to be good to go. Now, one of the things I want to call out for you to look at is the fact that with mystery, thriller, suspense series and with women's fiction fantasy, look at our competition. Oh my gosh, it's there for the taking. Look, they have less than 1,800 titles, or the women's fantasy has less than 1,200 titles. They had only the MTS series only had a 2.6 increase. The women's fiction only had a 5.5. Now the women's fiction does have almost 47.5% of its titles in Kindle Unlimited. I don't care, because I'm still getting an average of $3 on the sale side, and with that competition, I'm okay with it, especially with it being a hot sale. So if I'm looking at this, I'm going to say, I'm going to look at a way to put a woman in a fantasy situation where there's still mystery, thriller, and suspense. And I'm going to mix those two. I already know. I can do the same thing with science fiction. Because here you have it: science fiction, fantasy, romantic. So I can just stick a woman in there and I'm still good to go. And so I've just shown you what I do to go through this. Like I said, I knew it was going to take a little time to go through and show this to you. But it is, how can I say it? It is so valuable to us to be on the same, or as close as we can be, the same playing field as other publishers, because trust me, they use this kind of data, and you can too. All right, so this has been Michelle taking you through a walkthrough through one of my most favorite data mining services, and it is called K-Lytics. And if you would be so kind, please go to michellespiva.com/KLE to get your copy, or to look at and check out the special reports. Okay, thank you so much. I will talk with you soon.